What's up, guys? It's MP Boxing. I just finished up watching Mauricio Lara versus Leigh Wood 2, and this was a 12 rounder for the WBA Featherweight World Championship. And this fight was Saturday, May 27th from Manchester, England, and this fight was broadcasted on DAZN. And in this fight, Leigh Wood was able to overcome the adversity from getting brutally knocked out in their first fight to now defeating and pretty much dominating Mauricio Lara to once again become the WBA featherweight champion. So I personally scored this bout 118 to 109 in favor of Leigh Wood. I did agree with two judges who also scored at 118 109. And then the third judge had it a little bit closer at 116 111. But regardless, Leigh Wood 100% won this fight. Clearly, no doubt in mind. Leigh Wood was pretty much up in their first fight. I didn't do a video on that one because I had stuff going on that day, but I was able to watch some of the fight, or most of the fight, when it happened, and Leigh Wood was winning that one until he got caught, but in this one, I mean, he didn't really get caught with anything, didn't really get hurt, lost a few rounds early, like 2 rounds, and like the first 6 was somewhat competitive, but after, in the second half, I mean, Leigh Wood dominated. So just to break down my scorecard, the first 3 rounds, I had it 30 to 27 or 30 to 26 in favor of Leigh Wood. Round number 1, I thought it was somewhat of a feel out round. I saw some nice jabs from Leigh Wood, so I just edged the round to him, but I think it could have went either way, to be honest. Then round number 2 was a big round for Leigh Wood. He landed a nice uppercut when Lara was coming in a bit with his head down. Lara got caught with that uppercut and got sat down on the canvas, and it was a nice 10-8 knockdown round for Leigh Wood. Then in the third round, Leigh Wood was landing some very nice power shots on Mauricio Lara, backing him up with some nice right hands, sharp shots coming forward. It was a very good round for Leigh Wood. Then rounds 4 and 5, I gave them both to Mauricio Lara. Those were the only rounds I did end up giving to Lara. He was just landing the much better shots in those 2 rounds, was much more aggressive, much more powerful, and much more effective than the entire fight. Those were definitely his best 2 rounds, rounds 4 and 5. But then, I mean, I'm going to be 100% honest. From round 6 to rounds 12, my scorecard, I mean, they were, I all gave them to Leigh Wood, but they were very similar rounds. It was just Leigh Wood landing the better shots and Mauricio Lara not really doing much. Lara's key factor to win this fight was to throw his hands. He didn't really throw them that much in those rounds. Maybe he was just kind of cautious because he didn't want to get caught with like another one of those like uppercuts coming in or something like that. But he didn't really throw his hands that much. I mean, maybe in like round, I think maybe it was maybe round 9 or round 8. I think you could have maybe given the round to Lara. It was one of those two. I can't really remember exactly, but I mean, just from round 6 to round 12, it was Leigh Wood just doing the better work and landing the better shots, and Lara just wasn't doing much back. So, I mean, Leigh Wood most definitely won this fight. And this goes into question, what is next for him? Once again, the WBA World Champ. Also today, Luis Alberto Lopez brutally knocked out Michael Conlan to defend his IBF featherweight title. Last time out, we saw Lopez fight on DAZN. Leigh Wood fights on DAZN. So, I mean, possibly we could see a world title clash between the WBA champ Leigh Wood and the IBF champ Luis Alberto Lopez. And I think that's the most likely option that could be next for Leigh Wood. But if Leigh Wood doesn't fight Luis Alberto Lopez for unification, we could see him possibly fight Josh Warrington, who did lose a split decision to Luis Alberto Lopez, or we could possibly see him in a trilogy with Lara, but I mean, that's very, very slim, to be 100% honest. But most likely it's going to be a unification with Luis Alberto Lopez. But as for Mauricio Lara, obviously a trilogy could be on the table, but like I said before, it's very, very slim. But for Lara, I think we could see him come to the United States like he did when he fought, I believe it was Emilio Sanchez, if I'm saying the correct name, when he fought Emilio Sanchez after when he knocked out when he knocked out Josh Warrington. He came to the United States on I believe it was a Golden Boy card, got a very nice win on a Golden Boy show. So I think we could definitely see Mauricio Lara fight on the next maybe DAZN Golden Boy card or just DAZN USA card, or should I say Matchroom USA card. like we could definitely see that happen next for Mauricio Lara, because I don't think he's going to continue fighting in England. But I mean, we're kind of used to seeing him fight in England, fighting those multiple fights with Warrington, now fighting these 2 fights with Wood. We've sort of been accustomed to his biggest fights being in England, but I think in his next fight he'll go on like a Golden Boy card or something like that in the United States, and showcase his talents at that stage. So overall, Leigh Wood gets his revenge, dominantly defeating Mauricio Lara by a clear and pretty much wide unanimous decision. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.